So you can see the notepad, yeah? You see the notepad?
What notepad? Why aren't you
Actually-
using Notepad++?
Why does everyone keep asking me that? Because I'm not a programmer who's a big, massive nerd who has to use Notepad++ because the other students bullied him.
This is why
That's
you
why.
couldn't do that puzzle as fast as me still.
Well, because I didn't look up every single hint. Basically, and this is good. The idea was this. We're not necessarily presenting any new information today. Well, obviously, we don't have access to that. We're just writing down everything we think we know, and then sharing it with each other in the hopes of like understanding it better. You know how when you teach somebody else something or you tell somebody else something, it helps cement it for yourself as well.
Yeah,
that's the idea. So anyway, so I guess I'll tell you everything I know, or me and Khan know, I suppose. Obviously, I don't even know I wrote 6 classes 12%. I was just getting lubed up. So important general changes. We have hits, which are no longer separated by attack or spell. They're just hits now, which has a few really interesting ramifications. Obviously, this means you can now, I believe, I've written it down, so this is my current information. So feel free to tell me I'm wrong about anything, Ziz.
Yeah.
That's we're trying to learn, right?
Yeah.
But we believe you can evade spells and you can block spells. There's no spell block or spell evade or anything like that. You can just evade and block spells.
Correct.
Which is crazy. But it's not as OP as you think because you cannot evade or block anything. Basically, there's nothing you can really do to dodge big slams. Like think like a Katava slam or a Shaper slam. Well, I shouldn't say there's nothing. There is like special keystones or gear.
Yeah, because you can get like 30% damage reduction on those, right?
Yeah, you could. There are exceptions. There are keystones.
Yeah.
But we'll go over those separately. But in terms of like base default mechanic, if like a Shaper slam is slamming you, you won't be able to block it. You won't be able to evade it. It's gonna hit you. There are keystones that can mitigate this further, but that's a layer of complexity above. We're just talking base default mechanics right now. Also interesting to note is a massive like over-tuning balance point in POE1 was resistances and how you can, like Doyani's prototype, how you can make them have like negative 200 res or negative 100 res. Now they've just decided to say fuck that. You can no longer have negative res. You can also not pen either below 0, which also means having like enough pen or negative res or exposure to get to 0 will be really accessible and important to get. I think they'll essentially balance the game around you having like enough to get it pretty much to 0. I would assume, because there are very large sources of like pen and exposure.
Well, balance the end game. Balance the end game.
Yeah. In game. But yeah, like I said, they can no longer go below 0, so you're not going to stack like 15 different sources of minus res, because it's not going to increase your damage at a certain point.
Yep.
Another big one is conversion. No longer, I'm not sure how to word this correctly, but to put it plainly, if you convert half your damage from fizz to cold, and you have physical damage, it won't apply to the cold damage conversion.
Wait,
so you
really?
actually need...
What's the source for that?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the source for that too. Any knowledge chat on the source?
I mean, it would make more. It's more. What do you call this? It's more intuitive if it works this way, and they try to make everything more intuitive for new players and stuff.
Like if you video, it was Hirishi in Discord, so he must show it in one of these videos, right?
Okay, cool.
I actually wouldn't mind the source because it is a huge ramification.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god. It's the EB video. The mana stacking madness.
The monster damage one.
Conversion. Conversion now scales by the final damage type and does not remember converted damage type.
Yeah, so...
I don't know if there's a source, but at least it's on the wiki. I mean, is that good enough for you?
And this is that damage will no longer remember its origin type. So if we take the example we discussed earlier in regards to POE1, the physical damage converted to fire, where the player can scale this damage using modifiers to both fire and physical. Well, in POE2, that won't be the case. The converted portion of damage can only be scaled by modifiers which apply to the end conversion damage type, i.e. the damage that is being dealt.
Here's the source. It was here.
Okay. Good enough.
In addition, and frankly the more important change, there's no inverse conversion order, so conversion can theoretically go from anything to anything.
That's good. So that allows them to do so much more.
Yeah, so in English, what this means, chat, is let's say you run Himthrower gloves, whatever they're called, which converts 100% of your physical damage to cold damage. Physical damage will no longer give you damage. Only the cold damage will.
Do you think
normally,
this allows us to do this defensively too? Because that's a big hole in POE1 right now.
Yeah, I do think this is a thing, but that's a bad thing because iron reflexes means no longer your evasion will no longer give you armor, like evasion scaling.
It's not objectively a bad thing, right? It's a different thing. Because like, do you remember I had that one build that would have been borderline immortal if it worked that way, and then I died, and that's how we found out.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know what you're talking about because it was like a betrayal death.
Yeah.
And your endurance charges fell off or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously that's a huge change though. Like especially if it does work with IR, it's very, 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 very big change.
Yeah.
And obviously low life is now 30%.
Well, is that 100% confirmed though? Because that's from a different node that says 30%, right? It doesn't specifically say low life. We actually talked about this in my stream too.
Oh, interesting. I guess source for this one too.
Yeah, because I believe this references the Blood Witch or something, which says 30%, but it doesn't say low life. Something like that.
I don't get why people need to know everything about the game. Oh, to be clear, you don't. I can't speak for my friends, but I'm pretty sure they're in the same boat. We're just massive PV nerds. Like, yeah, we're just massive fucking nerds, bro.
And it's our job, right?
You know that meme where the wife is like, wonder what he's thinking about, but he's thinking about other women, and the guy's like,
the Roman Empire.
How does that work in PvE?
That's exactly.
literally.
That's literally us, yeah.
Yeah.
So res reduction can still take res negative, but you can't penetrate negatively. But something like Doriani's would still work.
Okay.
So I have a question though. So does that mean if you bring a mob down to let's say negative 50%, pen is literally dog shit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and is exposure minus res? It is, right?
Yeah,
it's not pen.
It is minus res, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So also, I'm not 100% sure on the low life 30% thing. I also like the reason I asked is I found it odd that they very recently raised it to 50, only to lower it in POE2 to 30.
Yeah, same.
During basically the same development cycle. So I thought that was weird. So I'm not convinced.
Yeah. So if you can reliably bring a mob to below 0, just ignore pen. Yeah.
So basically, early on pen or. You could also just not bother with you could also just not bother with resistance reduction and just go for pen, go to 0 and call it a day.
Yeah, if pen's really accessible, it could be a case of early game pen, late game like with curses minus res kind of thing.
Yeah, it looked pretty accessible. Like we've seen like runes or whatever they're called on weapons for like 15% pen, shit like that.
Yeah. What about the low life information, chat? Do we have any sources for that?
So if we look up the Ascendancy of the Blood Witch, I think that's what it's being assumed with right now.
Blood Witch.
Blood Mage.
Whatever.
I made the same mistake.
Yeah, it's a mage.
Maybe it's the other one. Isn't it? Was it the Infernalist? One of them references something.
Well, not on low life. Oh, but we must have a tooltip from somewhere.
Well, not on low Infernal Flame.
Oh, that's got nothing to do with low life.
Yeah.
I don't see why they would change it.
Yeah.
And we saw a video earlier.
Someone that was. Yeah.
They were on 50% life with petrified blood, which means that mechanic is probably still in the game. Like that. It was a low life build or something.
Do we know it was petrified blood?
Oh yeah.
We don't.
The big stream, they said low flame was 30% and below. So people are basing it on that. So I am assuming that low flame is 30% and low life is 50.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. I'm officially taking that off for now then. Pen achievement's also 30. Oh, that is true. But I guess it's not enough. How about I put a question mark? So a question mark just means
if pain attunement is 30, then I'm more likely.
Wait, hold on. What does pain attunement say exactly? Does it actually say 30?
It has very specific wording. Let me find it.
Didn't you have it open?
Here you go. Pain attunement, 30% less. Oh, it just says low life.
No,
it literally just says.
Yeah, I was like, what are you guys talking about? No,
it's 30% damage, not 30% low life.
It does say 30% though.
I mean, you're wrong. But I mean,
Love Mal.
So I'm not convinced that low life is 30. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just.
I mean, if that's the only source, if that's
Wait,
literally the only source, then I don't see how it could be 30.
Yeah.
Wait, is low mana a thing in POE1? That term.
I'm
Is it
pretty
used
sure.
anywhere?
Esh's shield that used to work that way. POE
what is-
Esh's mirror.
Yeah, what is low mana then? Is it 30 or is it 50?
Well, I don't think the shield even exists anymore.
I guess the best way to check is where to take the patch notes where they change low life, because if they change from mana 2, then it should be mentioned.
Maybe I was confused because this is just not on low life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In POE1, everything with low is 50%. So it could be that it's 30%. To be fair,
Because
I think it's basically a 50-50. It's 50% chance whether it's 50 or 30.
Oh, Infernal Mantle was low mana.
low mana.
Yeah. Although it doesn't say what low mana. Well.
So on the wiki it says low mana is 50%. Apparently. But that's the bad wiki. Hold up.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Just resubscribed for 89 months.
I'm kind of tempted to take this off then. If that's literally the only source, I'm kind of a doubter, hey.
Yeah, low mana is a condition that applies when the player's mana pool falls below 50%. That's PV1. And apparently, this, I don't know if it's true, I haven't seen the proof, but they said low mana was 30%.
It's got the receipts.
Again, I'm not saying it's not. I just don't know.
If it's 30%, I'm coming after you.
Wait, no, but I think it could be 30%. No. I'm just saying it's not for sure. Get you. I'm trying to be factually accurate, and I'm mad.
Look at it.
And he's
he's mad. He's gonna sneeze on me. He's gonna sneeze on me, chat.
I'll come cough on you.
It's a game where you have to be mad.
Now this is directly from the Dreamcore video, and he does show the receipts for this at least via some math. But it's 12 life per level and 4 mana per level, and we also have some attribute information and spirit information. You might have spirit. I haven't like fact checked yet, but it's supposed to be a base of 0, meaning that you cannot reserve minions at level 1 unless you get a scepter to grant you either free minions or additional spirit from the scepter.
Yeah.
And then there's every act has like a quest reward thingy to give you 30 spirit, meaning you get 180 by the end of Cruel.
Yep.
So and you can also get additional spirit from Soul Cores, which are those socketable rune-like things. But they are notably different from runes. They're like, they come from something else. Can't remember what. Was it like...
Ultimatum or something, I don't know.
Yeah, it was one of those mechanics.
Do you think we'll have really rare runes like Zod?
I have no idea, I'll be honest with you. I have no idea.
Who knows? I mean, surely.
Soul Cores are ultimatum. I'm going to write that down as well then. What our runes just random drops. Soul Cores equals ultimatum. Runes equals world drop. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, speaking of runes, do we know how common they are? Because they have to be very common for the role they're supposed to fill. Like they're supposed to replace like the crafting bench to solve your problems while you're leveling.
Well, this is the point, right? That there might be common runes, but there could also be rare runes.
Yeah, I know. But like I'm just saying in general, like the common runes do drop very often. Otherwise, you know.
The point of the sheet is not necessarily to have the best source of information. It's more about
I know what you mean.
Checking information in one spot, like how do I word this?
Consolidating
writing down consolidating the information that we know. So there's probably stuff on Extra Life Wiki or whatever that we don't know. That's fine. We can add to our sheet. Just to the point is this is what we know. When I say we, by the way, I do literally mean like me, Khan, and Ziz when we catch this up. I mean, Ziz probably already knows all this by the sounds of it.
No. I literally just found out they changed chaos damage.
Oh, to be did you also know, skipping ahead a bit, that CI characters are effectively immune to bleed?
No. So I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll scroll back up and we'll keep going.
How wonderful is that, by the way, that like we as streamers don't know? I love it. It's so good.
I know. Well, streamers aren't special human beings. We're just normal people.
Well, you're pretty special.
Sure. Oh, sure. Yeah, we do. The main thing we have is more time, really. So, yeah. So we do have the time to learn, which most people don't.
That was not a compliment.
Yep. Now this is interesting. You probably know this one, but strength is 2 life per strength. Int is 2 mana per int, and dex is, now this one I don't know, but dex is supposedly 5 accuracy per dex. But what's really interesting is when you contrast it to POE1, it's actually in POE1 it's 2 strength per 1 life, and same with int, meaning that it's effectively 4 times stronger, at least for life and mana. Obviously, you do lose the melee fizz, and you do lose the energy shield scaling, and you do lose the evasion scaling. But in terms of that raw mana, I mean, that's crazy. Like, attributes in POE2 are crazy strong. Which also makes me think that they're also going to be a bit more scarce on gear, I'm not sure. Just because they're so much stronger. Like, literally 4x the power.
I mean, we lose the ways to scale. I mean, is there increased mana on gear? I mean, on 3, sorry.
Yeah,
very little, but there is. I'll show you, actually. I'll show you right now. Because I have it open somewhere. Mana increase.
Yeah, and
maximum.
Actually, it's true. You do get +5 instead of +10 on the small nodes for attributes.
So it's. Oh wow! Wait, is this confirmed? This small node is 8%.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I know this doesn't seem like a big deal.
You said that actually. You said that, no? Is that you told me this earlier? So
no, I told you that there were big nodes. I didn't see that there were small nodes that give 8%.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, even Captain Lance is like batshit thing. He knows what this means.
Yeah, that's kind of
I mean, look, for comparison, a notable is 6% with 20 flat. The small node is better than the fucking notable. What the fuck? How is this real? Yeah, I think this isn't real.
Yeah.
I'm actually a doubter. I'm a giga doubter. It doesn't even look like a mana node. No, this is fucking cap, bro.
What's it say on the extra life wiki?
Oh shit! All right, so this wants to go into the drama.
No. I've already done it. I've covered it.
Shit.
I'm just jabbing.
Oh, apparently EB is confirmed on Discord by Viperesque that it will not convert your energy shield. Oh, it says it on the thing. It literally says confirm not in EA. So, because apparently this was literally broken. Which I believe it, because I was crafting this.
Yeah, it would be stupid,
It'd be stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely think this would have been actual game breaking, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so where were we? We were here. Obviously just confirming, like, obvious knowledge here, but gems have base attribute requirements, and support gems will add to that. I don't know the exact math, like, I don't know if it scales upwards depending on how many support gems. Maybe you know this?
Say again?
So, like, let's say I add 1 support gem, and let's say it increases it by 5 strength.
Yeah.
And then I add a second support gem. Will it go up by 5, or will it go up by, like, a higher
It's
scaling
probably
amount,
exponential.
like 10 or... Do we know if it's exponential?
No, I'm guessing.
Okay.
What do you mean? What is exponential? The total stat requirement?
Yeah, of each gem.
I mean, I think it just because it could just be no, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure actually. Do you have no footage about on the gem to see the requirements?
There's probably, but it's like there's so much footage, and after a specific moment in time, and it could have changed too. Like something Neversink pointed out is anything that doesn't have 2 flasks is outdated.
True.
So you have to be very careful about the footage you analyze.
Because it's like what? Do you have like what? How many gems we have? 9? Is it 9? Or how many was it? Actually, that's a good thing to add. Like how many gems we actually have available to us.
Good point. Yeah, actually, I haven't written that down.
Yeah.
We'll put that here. Do we know how many? It is just 9, and that is separate from skills, right? Like if I have an Ascendancy which grants me poison concoction, that would bump it to 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually so if you have 9, if you have 9 skills with 6 links, I mean, I don't see it being unreasonable that it just adds every single
9
bonus
total
stat.
gem.
It's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unreasonable. That is just additive. Like, if you have 9 gems with six supports,
So we say like, should I just
like
say
30 per
gems?
gem.
Will people understand what that means?
Yeah.
Skill gems, maybe.
Well,
9
because
total
that's
skill gems. Yeah, it's 9 total skill gems.
kill gems. Yeah.
Yeah.
By
I actually think
default, can have extra via ascendancies or shall we say like gear?
yeah.
And then
Ascendancies,
obviously
gear.
5 support gems. Oh yeah, actually, this is a good question. Maybe Ziz knows. Does every single skill gem get 5 supports? Like up to 5 supports?
Yeah.
Or is there like... Is that like a hard yes, you think?
I would say so. Like we haven't seen anything contradicting that.
Well, there was some footage showing Ray's shield having no support gems. But that might just be because it didn't have any like jeweled orbed onto it.
Yeah.
5 support gems per skill gem. Up to.
Yeah, I actually think it's just additive then. The stat requirements.
Yeah, because 9...
Because you get like 5. Yeah, you get like 45 support gems total. And that just works.
Yeah, because it would
That
be
seems-
250 total stats required to equip
Yeah.
it.
And you get half the amount of stats from 3 compared to POE1.
Yeah, you're probably right. And that's
So
just
I think it's
assuming
additive.
you have no skills from gear, which you would, most likely.
Yeah.
You would from somewhere.
Yeah. So I think
Okay.
that looks right.
+3 on gemling. Yeah, I won't mention +3 on gemling because I did already mention you can get extras from ascendancies. And then I said this as well. Gear just works like POE1 attributes. From what I can tell, this is correct. Like if it says
Yeah.
150 strength, it doesn't add like gems do. You just need 150 strength to equip it, kind of thing.
Yep.
And then the highway travel nodes we mentioned +5, you get to pick, which is
Yeah, I like that.
interesting.
I feel like I'm gonna be taking strength a lot in hardcore.
yeah, just have strength
For
all day.
life-based characters, because of how much life you get, strength seems extremely important.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think. That's what Giants Bud is gonna be really fucking good. Also,
Yeah, because you can just stack
fit.
strength and then get a
'Cause
big
you-
two-hander.
Yeah, stack strength anyway, and good life and
Yeah,
chilling.
because like I think it was like a low-level marauder, like a warrior, from Dreamcore. It had 60-something strength on it, which means just right off the bat, it has 120 extra life than anyone else. And it only had like 400 life, so it's like an insane amount of extra life.
You start with some stats of every stat, right? On each class, same as before.
And that is different. That is different. Like marauders have more strength than other classes do.
Yep.
It's a very small amount though.
It's just the starting, right? The starting stats, so it
Mhm.
doesn't matter that much. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, do we know about... Right. So you can't take out runes. We already know this.
Yep.
But can you overwrite them?
We
Does
don't
anybody
know. I'm going to ask
You
that.
don't know? Oh. Okay. I'll write that down here for now. Cannot remove them from gear, but we don't know if we can overwrite.
After we do this deep dive, you guys can like help me go through questions because I want to try to maximize. There's so many questions people want me to ask that I don't really care about asking because we only have 2 hours. Like I really want to maximize what are the most important questions.
Oh. So there's still time to change the questions, or you're just trying to trim?
I haven't even like made a full list that I'm sending a list to Jonathan later.
Oh shit! Yo, we could just do that now if you want, chat.
No, I'd rather go through this because it'll help me make better questions.
Okay. We'll speed run this. We're almost done anyway, I think, because we were pretty close to like starting to theory craft. So offense. Oh, now this is one actually. This actually really fitting because I wanted to know this question. Actually, is maybe you already know. So we know that accuracy drops off based off ranged, right? They've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
Does this apply to enemies? Like, if I am off-screening a mob, will that change its chance to hit me?
I would assume so.
I don't know if I would, right? But it's
That's a good
and
question.
conversely, but now here's what's really interesting. If accuracy applies to spells, does that also mean like I mean, I guess same question in regards to spells. And does it also mean is it harder for spells to hit enemies, or that's just separate, I assume, right? Like spells don't have accuracy, right? For players, I mean.
I would assume they don't.
Yeah. But that would be an interesting one to know. It applies to spells? Yeah, so really interesting. We covered it in evasion, but you can evade hits, right? And spells count as hits now.
Yep.
Which is confirmed. Which, again, very weird coming from POE1, but that is confirmed. A monster actually does have accuracy on their spells. Correct? I mean, they do. That is essentially... I mean, I don't see any other conclusion, right? That must be the case.
I might ask for clarifications.
Only monsters, though. I don't think players have accuracy for spells. They just don't have spells. Oh, that's a more intuitive way to understand it.
True. Bareback, I'll still be able to hear you, though.
Okay. Still, though, I still want to know if you're off-screening an enemy, does that affect the accuracy? That is still a valid question, I think. Because if we assume all monster hits are attacks now, essentially, I still want to know the accuracy question for monsters, I think. Obviously, there's a whole section on ailments. Now, this has lots of things to clarify. So, while this is AFK, he says he can hear me. So, I'll just rapid fire them. Elemental ailments, and we do believe this is specific to only elemental. The difference there being it doesn't apply to bleed or poison. And the chance to apply an ailment is now based off the hit that applies it. So, for example, if you hit an enemy for a certain amount of their threshold, it might give you like a 30% chance to apply an ignite, or a 30% chance to apply a shock. Which also means if you crit with like a lightning hit, it will therefore increase the chance to apply a shock, purely because the hit will be larger than if you didn't crit. Freeze and shock have buildups. I believe ignite and shock did not have buildups. Let me just double check. I have the source for this before we pop off. I have lots of fucking images to open though. Give me a second. It's gonna take me a second. I'll just read exactly what this is a GGG employee wrote this in the Path of Exile 2 Discord. Damaging ailments care about the final pre-mitigation damage of the hit now, so crit damage naturally affects ignite damage with crits. Damage relative to the monster ailment threshold increases the chance of inflicting ignite and shock specifically. So they're differentiating ignite and shock from build-up like freeze. Crits have no specific interaction with ailments, but they are more likely to inflict ignite and shock because they deal more damage, but that's it. Ignite and shock chance is based on damage relative to the monster's ailment threshold. Currently, it's a base of 25% chance to apply per 100% of ailment threshold the hit deals. So let's say you hit a mob for 1,000 lightning damage, and the mob had an ailment threshold of 1,000, that would give you a 25% chance to apply shock. And if you hit for 4,000 damage relative to the 1,000 ailment threshold, this would be 100%. Yeah, you need to hit for 400% of the threshold, correct. Yeah, so ignite and shock just have a chance, which is not build up. I'll link this in chat. Yeah, more damage is better, correct. What if you had ball lightning with 750% more shock? I believe the way that would work, chat, is let's say you hit for 100 damage with ball lightning and you had 750% more shock. That 100 damage would count as 850 ailment threshold. Does that make sense? So if let's say the mob had 1,000 ailment threshold, this would give you something like a 20-ish% chance to shock with ball lightning. Ish. I don't know the exact. I mean, I'd have to get a calculator, but you get the idea. Essentially, it acts as if you're hitting a lot harder.
I'm back.
What if you use a flat percent shock support? My understanding is that doesn't exist.
I'm back.
Oh, hello. Yeah, so feel free to chime in about any of the ailment information. It is a little bit confusing, specifically how there is essentially freeze has build up, ignite and shock don't. They just have a chance depending on how hard you hit relative to the ailment threshold.
Even on bosses?
And well, bosses have their own special ailment threshold, remember, which is much tinier than the HP bar.
Yeah.
Like much tinier, by the way, chat. I actually, bit of history. I found it easier to chill Uber Adzeri the Gauntlet than like a normal map boss, which is because I did all this testing for Gauntlet, the Gauntlet I won. Do you remember this?
I remember.
Yeah, so really interesting. Bosses are usually easier to chill. Like Shaper's easier to chill than like a map boss sometimes, just because of ailment threshold values. Because they can really tinker with that manually, that hidden value that we can't see behind the scenes.
Yep.
Anyway, what's really interesting on top of this, because this is obviously just elemental.
Why would I forget? I made the
ailments. Bleed specifically, and we do have confirmation of this. Requires you have to hit their life pool in order to be able to inflict a bleed, which means that if you're a CI character, you are effectively immune to bleed. But this is also the reason they had to do this is because bleed and poison both bypass energy shield. This is different from chaos damage doing double damage to energy shield. It completely bypasses it. And this, I can show you. I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen it?
No.
I'll bring up the video. Because this is a tooltip. So this one's kind of like, well, it's not confirmed because you know everything's subject to change, but it is somewhat confirmed. Oh, you don't need to unmute. This one's just reading.
Okay.
If it like, well, but you can see it reads protects your life by taking damage instead. Rapidly recharges if you don't take damage. Chaos damage removes twice as much.
Yep.
And damage from bleeding and poison bypasses energy shield direct to remove life directly.
So what does CI do now?
CI works the same way as it does in regular PoE. It just has different ramifications. So you still have a max of life of 1, and you're still immune to chaos damage. That does effectively mean you are immune to poison damage and bleed.
Oh.
And all chaos.
Wow. CI seems a little too strong then.
Well, that's actually the next point on the list, because we went over this a bit. I'll skip down a little bit. But in order to make CI not completely busted, they basically neutered every single tool we have for it. Everything. So energy shield recharge rate has been lowered from 33% to 12.5.
Oh.
The delay is 4 seconds, up from 2. So this is mathematically 6 times worse.
Wow.
Right? Because a third of the recharge rate and twice the delay.
Yeah.
And then we also don't have things like Wicked Ward. We don't have do we even have ES Leech? I don't even think we do, except for Monk obviously. But ES Leech seems very hard to get.
Yeah.
And then Zealot's Oath as well got gutted. Zealot's Oath no longer provides you with like ES regen.
Monk has ES Leech.
Yes. Monk specifically. But worth pointing out that's we believe is that just attacks, chat?
Bow CI Monk.
It just says Leech. It's Mana Leech applies to Energy Shield. Right, so the problem is getting Mana Leech from spells. Is that the issue? Because you would need a source of Leech, and the only source of Leech we know for a fact that exists is there's one on the Blood Mage, I think. But the only other source of Leech is just Fizz Leech, right? From attacks is the problem. Right. Yeah, so I mean Leech is tricky. Leech is a very tricky stat right now. It's very tricky. But yeah, because of all those downsides, you can see why CI is kind of busted and also kind of dog shit at the same time. Because it's like really hard to get back. I did have a really cool idea though. I don't know if it'll work. And it's in the block section. Tell me. I'm gonna bat chest. I'm just gonna tell you the ideas. You can tell me if you think it'll work. Are you ready? So everything I just said, right? ES is insane if you can recover it, but you can't recover it, right? It's basically impossible to recover. However, there's one item, one gem that exists that, let me see if I can find it. Stun. Oh god. Why did I look it up like this? Am I dumb?
Wow.
Energy shield. Is it? Oh, here we go. Energy barriers. Energy shield recharge begins immediately and is not interrupted by damage for 3 seconds when stunned when using supported skills.
Huh.
So you might be thinking like, okay, well, how do you force trigger this? Well, now this is theoretical, but if it works, it's hilariously OP.
Oh, I get it.
Active block, yeah, because active block is based off stun, and if you get staggered, it should theoretically stun you. We're thinking it stuns you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's, and so you hold your shield up, it breaks. While you have it up, you're basically immortal, except to slams. But if you do break the stagger, you link it to that gem, right? Because it's an active gem that you can link to it, and we already confirmed it is linkable. That will then trigger your ES recharge.
The whole like
Yeah, bro, I'm
except for
smoking.
AoE is pretty scary though.
It is. It's not immortality, but that is really strong, right? You're not. It only blocks from the front. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a mortality, chat, but it is really,
Yeah.
really strong, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll work, but I don't know. I don't know if it's hardcore viable.
I think it
doesn't
will
work, huh?
be at
Wait,
the bare
wow.
minimum very tanky for softcore. It's scuffed even for softcore. I don't know if it is that scuffed. Chat.
No,
this
I
is
don't
true.
think it's that scuffed for softcore.
Yeah, chat, this is true. Look at all of the gameplay teasers, all of them. There was only one footage at all, only one source of footage where they didn't take a single hit point of damage during a boss fight, and it was the one where they had the shield. They literally did the entire boss, a full boss, and it wasn't like they didn't just one-shot it. It was a long boss fight without taking a single point of damage. I think block is really strong. Like, really, really strong. Now, you do have to avoid the slams, but
Yeah.
I think the slams will kill any... I think, chat, the slams are going to kill you. Like, you're fucked on the slams. Like, everyone's fucked on the slams, right? It is what it is. But there's a lot of damage that isn't a slam.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, there is one caveat. I think that mod only appears on armor ES because I think it's an armor-based implicit.
Are they
But
not
that's
hearing
fine.
or something?
Oh. Hello?
I
Khan?
can't tell if I'm.
We can hear you now. Now you're muted.
Oh, fuck me.
Have you been talking this whole time and you've been muted?
Yeah, I've been talking, you've been fucking so doing a walling. I was confused.
No, you were muted the whole
Yeah,
fucking
we
time,
haven't heard you
brother.
talk to in a long time.
Dude, the fucking Discord icon was deceiving me. Dude, because the problem is like when I use shit full screen, I can't tell if I'm muted or not.
You know the best part is, chat. This is true. Khan thinks we're ignoring him on purpose.
No, but I mean I know you
No,
muted, and that's why I was confused.
Because the icon is lit up when you can talk.
No, because but it's like there's a fucking what it's called. It's crossed. The microphone icon at the bottom is crossed.
You think I'm just yapping over you, ignoring the fuck out of you? But like, it's been like 10-15 minutes. Oh no.
Sad egg.
I'm fuming, dude.
No.
I'm
Mad.
actually
Why is
mad.
Card mad?
I'm fuming, dude. No, I'm not muted. See, that's the thing. Like right now, it looks like I'm muted, but I'm not. Look at my screen right now. Look at it.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I'm
come
talking.
up.
Yeah,
So,
you see,
I'm gonna play
like I'm not
ads
muted,
real
but
quick.
it showed me as muted. So like,
And make sure you run your Discord as admin. That helps sometimes.
okay. Well, I
In fact,
mean,
you can restart now if you want. Yeah, you can restart now.
yeah, BRB.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that is different than mine.
What's different?
Yeah, his mute icon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we'll talk about builds as well. Oh, I don't know how much I told you or you understood this, but I wanted to do a key giveaway too at some point today. Because I have like 27 keys to give away. I was just gonna give them all away. I was just gonna do a big giveaway.
I'm gonna sell them. $50 each.
Shit. Scalping. Oh shit. I have the keys and I'm gonna sell them. Oh shit, what the fuck? Chat, if you're gonna buy keys illegally, at least don't buy them for more than $30. They only cost $30, chat.
These are better keys. They have streamer energy in them.
Shit.
Like, I lick the keys before I sell them.
But yeah, anyway, continuing on. My understanding of block, by the way, is not only do we have this active block skill, but regular ass block from POE1 exists, and it also counts as both block and spell block. And it's not directional, this block. It does still have the same limitation with like slams, but it is basically just regular ass block, except block and spell block, right?
Yeah.
They tell me I'm wrong here, but block seems really fucking strong.
Yeah.
Like really good.
Yeah.
It's incredibly
Oh, yeah,
strong.
okay. Yeah, you were talking about fucking slams. I was saying that fucking Warbringers don't die to slams. You can just press the Jade shit.
I need to know more information on that because that's not immortality. Apparently, it does actually have a it actually has a threshold.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm assuming it's really high for.
Well, I don't know if I'd assume anything. You know, what if
I
it's
mean,
literally 1k and it's actually dog shit?
No, because they actually like you have to charge it over time. You have to wait for stacks and you have to not move while you use it. So, I'm expecting it to be pretty strong, like a Volatic armor. Like
I mean, I agree with Karn here because they usually give a lot of love to melee, and melee has traditionally been very strong. So I think that's a safe assumption.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, dude.
Exposed.
I mean, listen. For once, I admit it looks like it's gonna be good. So.
Did you see this? 1 mana left was theory crafting that he can do 6 million damage in one attack.
In POE2?
In POE2.
Well, it means like one shot with the.
I have no idea how people are theory crafting damage.
I don't know either. I mean, I guess it's just assuming of the same weapons that we had in
well,
POE2 in game.
You can assume damage values based off the notables we have on the tree and the small nodes. You can just infer like X amount of notables and passives, damage skills, and then you go conservative as the
math
point,
confuses me still.
And then you can assume base damage off of a weapon, damage multipliers from the skill, support gems to add to that, any conditionals like shock or whatever, and then I guess you would just add like what? Ailments if you're gonna do ailment, because I think he is gonna do the whole.
He wants to do ignite. He wants to do ignite.
Yeah. So based off all of that information, he was assuming he would be able to one shot Zesht, the end game pinnacle.
Yeah.
I'd love to see his napkin math though. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he calced it to be 6 million damage in one Hammer of the Gods.
What Ascendancy was it? I don't know if he.
I didn't see more than that. I just saw the clip.
Yeah, I'm just curious about what Ascendancy. But I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna be probably Titan or something. Titan or Warbringer, yeah. I mean, Warbringer. Okay, we're gonna talk about Warbringer Ascendancies later, I guess.
Yeah, we will be talking about all this, like the build specific stuff later. Again, though, we know fuck all, so I mean, it's not gonna be that interesting. But Ziz will go over like some of the builds he's thought of. And again, when we say builds, it's more like totems look cool.
That literally is what I'm doing.
You want to play EA totems again? Oh no!
What? I'm going melee. I'm going melee.
Huh?
Because even though we're nerding out over mechanics, I would say we have roughly like 25% of the information we need, right, to make a build. Because we have a few passives, a few notables, the keystones, and not even full ascendancies. We just have like partial ascendancies. So we just don't. And gear is like a real guess at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, for example, everybody is like looking at Titan for Warrior, but I think that it's not gonna take much for Warbringer to be insane, even from the info we don't have. So
so we're missing a lot of information.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here now. So another mechanic that we know about is Overflow. It's not very accessible. It's not designed to be, but it is very powerful. It allows you to double the pool of the Overflow type. So Blood Mage allows you to collect orbs, right? That overflow your life. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Waking Dream. Is this the Energy Shield one?
Can't remember.
Wasn't it everything? Doesn't it recover everything?
Let me double check actually. POE2 ascendancies.
Meditate.
There,
or something.
there, Taylor. Yeah, life, damage, and mana.
Overflowing damage. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. And then obviously there's a unique chest that allows you to overflow your life. It does cost life to use the chest though, which is interesting. It reduces your life, but then you can overflow your life. So I think it ends up being like.
Oh, was it the chest that does that? Was it the chest that does that?
Oh,
that's why.
It was a very dog shit chest though. Like, it was really bad.
That's why I thought it was Blood Mage, because I think I saw the chest and I just assumed I just fucking mixed them up. I thought it was Blood Mage.
Feeds on corpses to boost your energy shield. I can overflow your energy shield.
I have to double.
Wait, so.
Yeah, just feed on corpse. Yeah.
Wait, so how does this work? You just literally reserve it and oh my god.
30
actually,
yeah, you just turn it on and you basically get ES on kill.
Yeah.
That overflows. That's crazy good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You don't have a way to get that for busting though.
No, but for mapping, I mean, you gotta admit, maps could be quite dangerous.
Well, the thing is, a lot of a big part of playing was gonna be just mapping. If we don't get map bosses like every map.
And these, unlike support gems, these do level up, right?
Oh, yeah, yes.
It's level 7. It's level 7. So.
Yeah, so this is actually I mean, we don't know the value. I mean, let's not take the values too seriously. But it's a safe assumption that this is not the upper limit. So that could be very good. Oh,
if you're using this as a summoner,
yeah.
If you're using this as a summoner and I pick up a Grim Remnant, do my minions get a shield, or will they pick up individual Grim Remnants?
Oh. Will your minions like cuck you?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Also, yeah, you can just have this with the minions that die. You can SRS and shit.
Well, only if what Ziz said is not true, because if the minions cuck you, that would be very bad.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
I assume only you?
Yeah, I'm assuming only you.
I think only you can pick it up, Ziz. I would assume that it's...
that'd be weird.
What do you think about
that means it's an honest to God, legit, like...
Yeah, looks fun, thank you.
Minion instability CI build, that's like basically broken. Like, you just run around picking up Grim Feast, and you're like a god.
Depends how high the values go. I guess it would help with the recovery too, for ES. Even outside of the overflowing part.
Yeah. So yeah, Overflow is a new defensive mechanic that we don't have in POE1, but it looks very, like, hard to get, but very strong. And then obviously Leech, we were delving into Leech when you arrived. Like, I think you heard Khan talking about Leech when you literally arrived. We were just literally looking at that now. My understanding is it just works. That you just leech damage based off your life. The damage you deal.
Well, yeah.
I assume it's capped though, right? It is capped? It must be.
No. I don't think this is capped though. Why would it be capped if it's based on your damage? The entire thing is like POE1 leech.
Well, how quickly? What's the leech rate? There must be leech rate, no? Check the
they've simplified it so much, right?
Yeah.
What's the simplification? Because I think everyone knows how it works, but me. What's the simplification? Okay, let's watch the video.
Yeah.
I'll pause my music.
Yeah, sure.
Dream Core POE Leech.
In Path of Exile 2, Leech is being significantly simplified, to the point that there is now only 2 relevant stats. The percentage of damage a character will leech, and a new mechanic in POE2, leech resistance on monsters. The amount of resource a character leeches is based on the damage a monster takes from a hit after mitigation, multiplied by the sum of percentage of damage dealt leeched as X resource that the character has. That total is then multiplied against the monster's leech resistance modifier to provide a final total amount of recovery that will recover the resource over time. For example, let's say a character in early acts has 2% of physical attack damage leeched as life and hits a monster with an attack ability. The monster takes 2000 physical damage from this hit, so the total leech amount is 40 life. The monster has 30% leech resistance, so the character recovers 28 life over time. Monster leech resistance is based on monster level and will generally increase the further you progress in the game. This system is not designed to make leech ineffective against some monsters or bosses, and is instead intended to counter exponential damage increases that a character will ultimately experience over the course of.
Isn't this also how D2 does leech? Or was it last epoch
Yes.
maybe? That's D2?
I think it's okay. The thing is, like in last epoch, yeah, it sounds similar to last epoch, to be honest. It's basically just you do a certain amount of damage, you leech a certain portion of that damage, and then that leech is recovered over time. We just don't know the duration. We don't know if it's 1
I was
second
about
or
to
3
say, is the
seconds.
duration always the same?
Well, I think they
Yes, it
explain
should be.
duration in a second, but we think
Yeah.
it's 1 second.
Yeah, it depends on the duration. If it's
Progression,
gonna be
to
Right.
present a somewhat balanced amount of leech at any one point of game progression. For example, comparing leech recovery in Act 1 to Act 6 should present a somewhat equal amount of leech relative to the character's total resource pool. The only information that we don't have just yet is exactly how long a leech instance will last for by default, but based on the interview Zizaran did with Rishi and
Another
Jonathan,
guy.
their answers
Yeah.
about leech may suggest that a single leech instance will recover the amount of resource over 1 second. I'll link the timestamp.
Wait, so you knew? Yo, explain.
Yeah,
you
he knew. That's
He
what I
knew.
remembered. I remember this interview.
Bro,
He
my memory is like a goldfish, alright?
Like that, yo, hey guys, where's the source for this? Oh, it's Ziz.
I'm the source for this, apparently.
Look, he's so happy. He's like, yep.
Perfect.
Yo, I have
Perfect
no
frame.
memory. I am sick. Leave me alone.
All right, leech.
But yeah.
Um,
That's why I was saying, like, I don't know. Leech is either insane or fucking dog shit.
damage X, leech percent, leech amount, leech percent on gear, on character X, leech resist on mobs equals leech amount over 1 second default base duration.
Yep.
But
Pretty simple, right?
yo, there
Yep.
seems to be a development in the extra life bullshit, by the way.
So, oh, content?
Content. Yeah, I mean, wait, hold on. I'll link you.
Oh my god, okay.
I'll
I didn't
link
want this
you.
to be a drama stream.
I mean, listen, man. Like, I'll link you. Lamau. It's actually.
Oh.
a fucking
Right,
shit,
because
goddammit.
essentially they said that they gave it to traditional media, not people to make guides with. And then they're calling out Fixture Life for having guides on their wiki with POE2 information. So we're almost done now. One more thing, obviously, mana regen. This is a new information done off the math of Dreamcore's latest video. He basically looked over the stat sheet, did some basic math based off his character, and he's found that mana regen is now 4% of base, up from 1.8% in PoE1. So the default mana regeneration rate is over double, which is pretty interesting.
That's nice. Okay, personally, I don't know how you guys feel, but I hate mana as a solvable thing in games.
Yes, I think it never brings anything interesting. Unless it is the focus of the build.
My opinion on this is if it's like resistances, it's fine. If it's anything more complicated than that, it's really fucking annoying.
True, Mr. Vintage.
Like, it's something I expect to solve on every build, like,
I do like
easily.
to zoom out. Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's actually the best example of like mana being fucked is when you try to play slams early game. It's actually completely unplayable. Like you spend 7 points on your tree and your mana is still not solved. I have people like complaining about asking me like how they can solve mana because it is not solved even by spending like 6-7 points on your tree, and that's not reasonable. In PoE1, that is.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. I think we can all agree. If we still have to use a mana flask in endgame, that's going to be a bit of a problem. I will solve it on any build I play. I'm just going to solve it. Like, I'm just going to get.
I don't think it's as bad on PoE2 because your mana pool is actually there. Like you have mana to play with, and you have a slot dedicated to mana flask. I don't think it's
so.
that
The
big of an
reason
issue.
why mana flask would be annoying is because what happens when you're out of mana flasks?
I mean, that's the point. I think it's supposed to be a resource that you have to. Well, for example, if you enter a boss fight, you need to finish the boss, kill the boss before your mana runs out, or manage your mana properly. I
Yeah,
don't mind it as much in POE2 as I do on POE1.
I do agree. The 4% mana is really good. Like that's a W.
Yeah.
So
Big W.
yeah, that's huge. And the
Well,
mana regen nodes, unlike mana percent, are a lot more abundant. Like there is a lot of mana regen. So I think it'll be well, from what I can tell, I should say. I haven't seen the full passive tree. It's from what I can tell, it exists though. So yeah, we'll see. Obviously 10% res penalty per act. I don't know if you've heard anything about this, but do we know if Chaos Res also has the penalty? Because there was maybe a hint. Like I'll show you the information.
Okay.
You don't need audio for this. It was just here. He has 10% negative lightning. Obviously, that's just the 10% penalty.
Right.
And his Chaos Res is 0, and he couldn't determine where he had the Chaos Res from. He might have had it from a quest reward. Maybe he's just forgetting.
Yeah.
But there's a non-zero, because he said he had no Chaos Res on his gear for sure. So unless he had it from a quest reward, there might not be a Chaos Res penalty, which would be interesting.
Right.
I mean, I think that regardless, we'll almost certainly have Chaos Res penalty in maps. I think I could see it not being there in the campaign, just because, for example, in POE1 you
Probably
can't
a
really
quest
solve
reward.
Chaos Res. Yeah, or
Yeah,
it's
I'm assuming there's a res penalty for Chaos, but something to keep an eye out for. Because that would actually weaken Chaos inoculation slightly.
Do you know what the hardest thing with POE2 is? Is that we have so much info about how things work in POE1, and then even in POE2, things have changed so much. So it's like, wait, does it still work like that?
Yeah, I mean, when I heard about the block system, my immediate assumption was passive block got removed, and I was like, this is awful.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's both is
very
the
good.
opposite. It's literally insane. It's very interesting. I have a Flasks and Charms section here. I guess I should fill it out. What do we need to know about Flasks and Charms? I suppose 2 Flasks. These are dedicated life and mana. You can't have 2 life flasks unless you use a special, like...
Yeah, that's what we think is the case. I think I saw MP said.
No, like Jonathan did
dedicated
say,
flask.
like, it is just dead for CI.
Yeah. Okay. 1 dedicated mana. Now, I've only seen 1 charm on any character so far. Maybe there's like a couple endgame characters that have more than 1. So I'm assuming charm slots are quite endgame.
I saw 3. I think I saw 3.
Yeah, but it probably was like a level 95 character. Because all the like Act 1, 2, and 3 footage I've seen, I think only had 1.
Yeah, you needed the higher tier belts for that.
1 to 3 charm.
A really nice thing for me about Flasks is that we can roll Flask recovery on Flasks now.
Oh, that's so confusing. You mean like charge generation?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked like a piss poor amount, but that was literally like an Act 1 flask, right?
Yeah.
Even that is pretty substantial.
It does build up over time, yeah. It does matter. Can roll charge generation for sustain during boss fights. Depending on, I mean, I did the math on that. It was like 1 flask use every 60 seconds. So, I mean hopefully that's a low tier mod.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's
really
notables on the tree for extra flask charge sustain. Because 1 charge, like 1 use every minute, is not going to cut it for me. Like if I have to rely on it for mana and recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about charms themselves? Actually, I should almost have an entire section in here. Like, okay, so charms roll for ailment, well, we'll say like effect removal. Remove, freeze,
yeah,
etc. How do we deal with ailments? Stuns I get. Stuns, there's a million sources of stun threshold on the tree.
Yep.
Like, they don't give you stun immunity, but they give you like stun threshold, like out the wazoo.
Actually, I
but
think
what about ailments?
I think there's no stun immunity because of the active block. Maybe.
Oh, because it would make you immune, so you can have the shield up forever.
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually. That's a very good point. Let's see. So ailments. Yeah. Do we have any like? Do we have any information at all on ailments? Like, is there?
Do we have any images of existing charms? Like we've seen a cold one, haven't we?
Yeah, they showed a couple, like one that like triggers when you get frozen and stuff like
Yeah.
this.
I wouldn't mind seeing a few examples just to refresh in my
Because
mind.
if I remember, the way it'll work is that you'll have a charm that, like, if you get frozen, you don't get frozen, and then that has to recover. So it'll be like, you can check if your charm is ready, and then you can open a strong box. But then you wouldn't want to open a second freeze box 3 seconds later unless it's replenished.
Here we go.
Oh, there's a bunch.
So
Yeah.
we don't have modifiers, sadly, but we have bases at least. Use when you become
There's the-
poisoned.
There's duration.
Oh, and-
There's a duration. There's a duration, so it's for duration. Yeah.
I think I heard Havoc or someone like that mention early on the res charms might be valid because they're low level and you don't have res. And then late
Yeah.
game, you might want to switch to remove like immunity ones.
Yeah.
Because obviously you would never, ever, ever, ever,
It's
ever.
not mandatory
Wait,
WST.
cannot be stunned. Oh shit.
Use it when you
But
become stunned. But I mean, it's just to not get stun locked.
Do you think this actually means like? Wait. Would this work with the shield thing then?
I mean, I
Maybe
think it would.
Nah.
Like, no,
That'd
because
be
like if you
broken.
hold, no, you hold the shield, you get stunned, and it triggers this, and you're not stunned anymore. But you will still
Maybe
interrupt it.
maybe it's not stunned.
Maybe it's a heavy stun, which is completely different from a regular stun.
Yeah. Maybe it's stagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make more
So
sense.
that would also kill my like energy shield recharge
Yeah.
idea pretty hard. Yeah, I mean it would be too broken, so it would make sense. Well, I guess this basically tells you all the ailments they expect you to deal with. Poison and bleed are two of them. Shock, ignite, slow, freeze, and stun. I mean, I guess the freeze for me is the big one.
I mean, freeze bleed. Bleed is nice too.
Well, if I'm CI, I'm immune to bleed and poison.
Yeah.
Stun, I'm just gonna get enough stun threshold on the tree via the notable. Slows. Slows, freeze. I wonder how rippy ignite will be. Monk
I mean,
ass.
shock is the big one though. Shock is really really good.
So I guess for now, charms are main way to deal with ailments.
That we know of.
Do we have anything on the passive tree? I'm just gonna double check the passive tree real quick. God damn, why do I have 5 billion tabs open?
Classic steel.
Yeah, the same. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to find the link. Oh god, I can't. It has such a weird link too. It has such a weird URL. Okay, I found it. Look at it, Marco.
Makora.
Actually, Ignite's not gonna work, right? Because
Ignited maybe.
Ailment? Yeah, I know CI takes care of it. There's regen while affected by ailments. That is nice, don't get me wrong, but like chance to inflict ailments. Gain ailment threshold. Oh. Huh. I'm not seeing too much information here.
Yeah.
No, the POE2 tree is not known. This looks very pretty. And you might be like, give me the link, and I'll link it in Discord just so you guys have it as well. And you might be thinking like, oh my god, let me take a look. You'll be glad to know that this node is node number 52. This node, node number 53.
No, show the best one. You gotta
What's
show
this?
the best one.
Oh, chat, guess what this node is?
Oh, N66 is still. Oh, 69.
69. Yeah, it's basically a blank. Like, there's a couple nodes on here that we know, but almost the entire thing is empty. This is just like a nice visualization of what we do know, but there's most of it we don't know. Well, to be fair, I mean, look at the bottom side of the tree, though. We do know a lot. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot on here. But I also question its authenticity, because this exists, and I refuse to believe that this is real, because this is stronger than a fucking notable almost. Where was it? Yeah. Mana Blessing is arguably weaker than this little tiny travel node. And this looks like an energy shield art, not like a mana icon. And this is an energy shield node that doesn't look like I refuse to believe this is real. You can click hide unidentified. Oh, so it doesn't even hover over anymore. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, might be some ways to deal with it on passive tree. New stat called Ailment Threshold for players. Okay, that's pretty much everything I got. Anyway, is there anything you want to add to our little knowledge bases that you might know that I haven't added or covered?
No, I'm really out of it. I'm still like a bit fucked.
That's fair.
A little fucked.
And mad.
Oh, someone said it's spell damage, not mana. And it's just mana on the thing because it's incorrect. Yeah, that would make so much more sense. Well, I thought spell damage was on the left side, though. Whatever,
I'm surprised we don't have the full skill tree.
Yeah, I mean, that's another big question. Do you think we should get Ascendancy and skill tree information before the launch?
Okay, so that's a really great question. Skill tree? Not necessarily. Ascendancy tree? Absolutely fucking lootly if there is no Ascendancy respec. That is absolutely fucking insane to not have public if there's no Ascendancy respec. Imagine respec, like going in Ascendancy and you're like, oh shit, this doesn't even work for melee, bro. And I can't respec. Make a new character. 10 hours wasted.
But okay. No, but the thing is, like, if they do it properly and every quote unquote, like, you know, whatever fantasy you wanna go for, whatever archetype you wanna go for fits the class you're playing, then the Ascendancy should be fine for it. Like, if you wanna play spellcaster, you know, play sorceress, for example, or like, that should be fine, right?
I'm going to bring up Ascendancy respec and push back quite hard on that in the interview.
I mean, I think it's just a technical issue, no, probably.
No, it's definitely not a technical issue.
It was a design decision. They were debating.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's currently not allowed to be respecs because it's easier to like allow respecs than it is to take it away. So currently it's not enabled.
Okay, I see.
Are you gonna be mad during the interview?
Very mad.
Yeah, I think he's already mad, dude.
I'm gonna go get water and then we can get started on the questions.
Yeah,
okay,
sounds
bye.
good.
Yeah.